Hey folks, how's it going? I'm Josh, and today we'll be checking out the Ricky Gervais Show, Season 3, Episode 10, Society. Guys, please continue to leave your comments below. All our videos based off your comments. If you're subscribed, check those out first. We also have a Patreon, guys. If you can't afford to donate to it, that is all good. Just continue to like, share, subscribe, and comment below. That's all I can ask for. I've done it so many times, I'll still stumble through it. Oh, guys, also, we have a daily motion. So if something gets blocked from here, goes in daily motion. So make sure you guys follow us on there for the stuff that will become just, I guess, daily motion exclusives. Let's check this out.
In ancient Greece, every year 500 people would be selected from that Grecian society, and they would have to sit there that year and they would propose laws and everyone else would vote on them. Now if you're in that position, all right, you're called up, what rules and laws are you instigating?
You might go, right, I want an egalitarian society. I want freedom for people. I don't want slavery. I don't want any sort of oppression. Would that be high on your list?
Well, you could say, you know, when I worked at Cordon Bleu, there was times when I thought being treated like a slave here.
You weren't though, because you were being paid and you were free. So.
What do you mean? I wasn't free. I was on like from 9 till 6.
You had the choice to leave the job. Slaves didn't have a choice to leave.
I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, you did.
The only other choice was Tesco, and they'd already turned me down.
That's not. That wasn't
no choice.
That wasn't the lack of choice given to most
But the slaves who built the pyramids, that wasn't an option for them. It wasn't like they could go. Well, I could get a better gig on the Sphinx.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, you're not saying anything. You're saying absolute drivel again.
Here's a little Greek proverb for you. A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in.
What do you think of that?
Do you understand?
Yeah, just saying. You're planting a seed. They grow a tree, but trees take ages.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
Yeah.
That old fella's not going to get any joy out of that.
Right.
But if he's lucky,
yeah,
the fella next door might have done the same years ago. So it's all about sort of planting a seed, looking after each other.
That's great, actually. It's not. I don't think it's directly what it means.
It's almost the point.
Yeah,
that's good.
Sure.
I think he means that future generations. But yeah, if the next door neighbour had done that, then that works as well.
But you seem to agree that that's a good point. Do you agree that seems a good point to you?
But I'm sort of guessing he enjoyed gardening anyway. Part of the enjoyment was in planting that seed.
He lost it.
It's the old metaphor problem again, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
It's not specifically about trees.
But as a metaphor, what he enjoyed is the fact that he's added to society and human life, and he's got a legacy and all that.
But by the same time, when I went to Ibiza, right, now there they have motorbikes, people flying around on them, people don't wear helmets. You might even get 3 people on a moped. I saw a farmer with a goat in a basket. They don't care. They're whizzing around at high speeds. A lot of deaths there.
Yeah.
And they'll have a lot of those areas where someone's come off, been killed. People put flowers there.
Yeah.
And because that happens a lot, it's a lovely green island. Now here, we're saying wear an helmet.
Well, you're saying that all the deaths make it nice because there's
it makes
flowers.
it lovely.
Because there's loads of flowers everywhere.
So with death comes beauty. So that's another metaphor. You can have that one.
That was one of the most tortuous things I've ever... That was extraordinary. That was extraordinary, Carl.
Right, Carl.
With death comes beauty.
London,
But
though.
there's
Let me
a
finish my
point.
point.
Let him finish his point. I'm intrigued.
Right, London, councillor with his clipboard, need a speed bump here. I saw someone doing 35. Put some traffic lights there and a pedestrian crossing. Pelican crossing there as well. And a speed camera.
Right.
Horrible and grey.
Okay.
No flowers.
But you still see flowers left behind where people have died in terrible accidents.
They're not
you
very
see that
good
all the
ones.
time.
He's stuck to a lamppost with elastic band round them. They don't look nice.
He's knowing the quality of flowers.
Wow. Some 15-year-old got run down and you're disappointed at the quality of the flowers.
Look at this, Suzanne. Fella lost his head here. Geraniums. Fella lost bloody head.
Well, that's so
We
weird.
have to
That's funny you
have
say
fun crime so that people get shot in inner cities and then we can put flowers up and beautify the area. Is that
No,
what
but
you're
if an
saying?
area's nicer to look in, nicer to be in, if it's nicer looking, you don't get people speeding around like lunatics. Because they go, I'm not in a rush, I'd quite like to slow down
This
here and
is
look
so
at the flowers.
complicated. So now what you're saying is because an area is grey and gloomy, people speed around to get out of it. In the course of doing that, they knock people down. But then flowers are put up, which then makes the area beautiful, thus stopping people driving around at speed so death no longer occurs.
Well, they're cute to getting out of their cars to put down flowers.
Then they get knocked down. Got other people on their way to put some flowers down.
Yeah.
Just sometimes people have to die, don't they? There was a fella outside our house who had a lamppost. He had a helmet on, but his head come off.
Oh no.
You made me laugh at a man's head coming off. The way you said it.
But that's the thing.
He's so fucking stupid.
Oh God! I did a house. He had a lamppost. He had a helmet on, but his head come off.
So you're saying that because in that one instance, the helmet did not save his life.
His head was in great condition. It's just not attached to his body. And that's what I'm saying to you. Sometimes people have to die. How far do you take all this stuff of you know, safety gear and slowing down and wear bright clothes at night? And it's just too much.
Very important point, you see. Do you think someone should be made to wear a crash helmet? They're only hurting themselves.
Crash helmet. I don't think you should get fined for not wearing one.
But don't forget, we're not just protecting him. He could be a father with 2 kids. So you're going, oh, let him up there if he doesn't want to wear a crash helmet. Let him get brain damage. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, we're over the top in this country.
No, but
when it comes
you're
to that
saying,
sort of
if you're
thing.
saying no, if he doesn't want to wear a crash helmet, let him not wear a crash helmet. He smacks his head in. He's a vegetable. He's like that, sitting at home like that. And yet the 2 little kids come to you. You're in charge, don't forget. We've put you in charge of society here. And they come to you, 2 little kids, they go, President Pilkington,
What?
why did you let my daddy not wear the crash helmet?
I didn't. We paid. We put leaflets through the door. We had adverts on the telly, sunshine.
Yeah, but why?
It's your dad's fault.
But why wasn't it compulsory? Because he wanted.
Your dad's
It's not the world we live in, Sonny.
Yeah, now I haven't got a daddy.
Has he got an helmet at all? Have you seen an helmet knocking about?
No, he's a vegetable now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to wear a crash helmet, but why didn't you make him wear a crash helmet? It wasn't just him, it was us. Why did you tell my daddy?
Look, he's so extra.
Where's your mum?
Mum left when he kept going on about not wearing a crash helmet.
Right then. Can I put you in a home? I just think, you see, this is the problem. Everyone's looking for someone to blame.
Yes, but
You're gonna
this
put you
is
in a home.
interesting, though, because
Oh, no.
you're particularly callous to that little 4-year-old boy who seems
Yeah.
so sweet and adorable.
Yeah.
But why wasn't he giving this stick to his dad?
Well, his dad's dead. He's a vegetable.
He's dead.
He's good as dead to him.
His dad went within the law. It was not the law to wear a crash helmet anymore because you said, forget it, I don't want a nanny state. I don't want, if you wear a crash helmet or not. He wasn't a responsible parent. He hadn't thought it through. But this is your job. Some people aren't responsible. Society keeps them on track. This was you were in charge. You should have made him wear a crash helmet. He had 2 kids.
We've heard from one of the kids. What's the other one's attitude? Is he younger?
He's a bit younger.
Is he even younger still?
Yeah.
President Pilkington,
Oh,
my brother's crying now because you shouted at him. I wish you'd have made my daddy wear a crash helmet.
why didn't you make your daddy wear a crash helmet?
Well, he wouldn't listen to me because I'm not in charge
Well, he
of
didn't listen to
society.
me.
Yeah,
He seems like a bit of a numbnut, to be
no, he
honest.
did listen to you.
What did he
because
do
you
for
made
a
a new
living?
rule saying people don't have to
Right.
wear crash helmets.
Right. What?
And he listened to you.
Did he pop shoes on in the morning when he went out? Or did I need to be here to tell him to do that as well?
No, there's certain
Oh,
things
so he
that
has got
do.
some common sense then.
Well,
Oh, right, interesting. So he can be bothered with his trainers, but he can be bothered with helmet.
I haven't got a daddy.
Jesus. Why can't they just put a leaflet through saying, hello everyone, use your common sense? That's all I'm asking. That's what I take if I
Because
was
some people
president.
don't have common sense.
Everyone's
Some
got
people
common
are
sense.
fucking idiots.
Yeah,
mate.
It's not my fault
That's
then.
why that's
Not
why
my
there is a
fault.
government. If we let people, they'd be fucking idiots.
Well, it's what we've talked about here. Social responsibility. This is your approach. I wash my hands of the whole affair.
Yeah, I'd hope that the people who don't wear an helmet sort of they do themselves in and that's cleared them off. That's one problem sorted.
So you think you're being Darwinian? You're thinking survival of the fittest. The idiots will soon, but they don't because they're not just the victims. The dead person isn't the victim. We've talked about it before. You know, people who smoke know that it's dangerous, but why is that still legal? And yet people know that and they still smoke. Fat people know that they're going to get out of breath and clammy, and yet they still eat more.
But because that's what I'm saying.
Why don't we stop fat people eating? If you've got a smackhead and you really love him, you intervene, you grab him, you put in a cupboard, you go, you're not coming out. He goes mad for about a year, then he thanks you for it.
Yeah.
So lock fat people in a cupboard. And just
can't
put
get 'em
carrots
in.
under the door. What?
The thing is, there's got to be some responsibility. Now, if it's your own fat kid, stick him in your cupboard. But what I'm saying is, as a counsellor, I'm not spending taxpayers' money on cupboards to put the fat kid in.
Obviously, in China, you can only have one child, can't you? Is that something you feel we should bring in here?
Yeah, I think we've got to. I don't know about one kid. I just sort of concentrate on who can have a kid, as
Okay.
opposed to, you know, if someone's got a load of money and they're good at looking after kids, let Madonna have as many as she wants. But if it's someone who's
but then...
So
but then-
social engineering you want to do
Yeah,
there.
but hold on though.
well, what
this
use are they then? If you're bringing them into a poor family, what's the point? What good is that for anyone? It's not good for the people who've had the kids.
So
it's not good for
who's
the kid who can't have
deciding
anything.
who's allowed to have how many kids?
Yeah,
Are you
but
deciding?
I was
Uh,
brought into the poor family, wasn't I?
What?
I was brought into a poor family.
Yeah, no, I'm talking really poor.
So, third world.
No,
What, poorer than that? Poorer than no money at all?
I just mean like the people who I've told you about on the estate sometimes, who had that one who chased cars and stuff. He wasn't happy. They didn't care if he was there or not. What's the point?
Right. So hang on. So let's imagine
So-
that Ricky and I are husband and wife. We've come in, right? What's your questions to us to establish whether we are allowed to have a couple of kids?
Hello. Thanks for
Me
coming.
and my husband, we can't have children.
Why not?
Because he's got no sperm at all.
Okay.
He had one sperm and it was ridiculous. It was awful. It just came out like a dead anchovy.
Right.
And
What's,
you were meant to have 300 million tiny ones, and he had one big one. It was horrible. I had to pull it out. It was like a leech. and also, it was no. I haven't got a vagina, so there was no place to
Completely
put it.
smooth down there, like an action man.
Yeah, it was just that. I don't know, but we love children, and we wondered if we could have a child.
what do you do for a living? What do you do? What's your work?
I'm a rapist.
Right.
Can I dispose of the bodies?
Well, fill out this form.
I should have clarified. A rapist murderer.
Fill out the form.
He did it in the wrong order as well, I must say. So, no, number of times I've disposed of the body. Said I haven't made that one.
I just wondered what else you need to know about us. Because even though
That
I'm
was
a,
our little joke, by the way.
Yeah,
he
well,
doesn't.
of
He
course
doesn't
not,
rape.
of course
and
not. I work in an office.
He works in an office in the town.
But yeah,
I'm a housewife. I
She's
think
a
that
housewife.
I'm making a little nest for when we adopt a little child.
we don't earn a great deal of money, but we're good parents.
We're
we
very
think.
good parents.
How, what's that based on? How have you
Well, we're
managed to
good
come up-
people, you know. I mean, aside from a few naughty jokes.
We're God-fearing people. We believe that God is watching all of us, and we believe in the Old Testament.
And sometimes he tells us to kill and rape.
yeah, sometimes he does. Yeah,
We're joking again.
We're
of
joking
course.
again.
Or
We
just
don't.
a
We,
joke, just a
we
silly
don't
joke.
believe in God. We're a firm atheist and believe that our time on earth is all we have, and then when we die, we become worms' meat.
Right. Well, you filled out
But
the
we've
form.
already painted the back bedroom. That's ready for the little child.
We've painted it black
Yeah.
because we want our child to be a Satanist.
Yeah.
Joking again.
Little joke from us.
We want,
Little joke.
we want him to be an accountant,
Right.
Yeah.
gay accountant. And there's too much in society where people are pressured to be heterosexual, so we're going to try and make ours a homosexual.
Right. So you filled out the form.
Fill out the form.
Yeah, we'll
fucking
put
stupid.
that in, get it processed.
Okay, but what kind of questions are you going to ask us?
None really.
No,
Oh my god.
It's my job.
you're happy. You're
It's my
happy
job
with
to
us.
pass the forms on,
We've passed the interview.
because that's the sort of world we live in now.
You've obviously heard of the famous Rosa Parks incident, in which she was obliged to move on the bus from where she was sat to somewhere else, and she chose not to, and she was arrested for it. Became very much a sort of figurehead of the civil rights movement. Had you been travelling on that bus?
What would you do?
And am I far from where I'm getting off?
Yeah. So once again, you can't just nip out at the next stop so you can wash your hands of the whole affair. No, you're on that bus. You've still got a number of stops, so you've got to stay on that bus. You've seen this bus driver demanding that she gets up, gives up that seat. Maybe she's given up that seat for you.
I'd probably go, it's all right. I'm standing, I'm all right.
What if Suzanne wasn't allowed to sit with you on buses? What if now a law came in that women were second-class citizens and she can't come with you? Wouldn't you go, no, fuck that, she's sitting with me?
I'd say we're only going around the block. We've been to the shopping centre. We're only 15 minutes. Can you take that bag with you? Because there's no one sat next to you down here. I'm a bit crammed in up here. There's more blokes on the bus. I'll see you in a minute.
Carl, let's put this I mean, obviously, this is too much for your head to... You're on a bus, right, and there's a few white people, and
I'm the driver.
And they're being racist to a black kid.
Right, I'd go, if I'm driving, I'd go, listen, lads, stop that, will you?
If you're going to be racist, can you get off at the next stop and do it there?
You know, we've all had a tough day. It's the end of the day. We just all want to go home. We've all been working. He's not in your way. He's sat in his own seat. Sit back. Calm down. Had enough.
Surely you want to be on the side of right.
I'm just doing my job here. I'm sat driving a bus. I'm driving a bus for 30 quid a week here. I'm getting a load of grief off some people at the end of the day.
But think bigger than the bus rule. It's not just a bus thing. Just imagine that you're not a bus driver. All right.
No, but that's what we're talking about here.
But yes, but Ricky's trying to make a point. It's an analogy again. It's about you taking some kind of responsibility that could put you in harm's way. Yeah. That could mean that you've got to stand up to danger or to bullies or to aggression.
If someone's attacking Suzanne, she goes, "Carl, help!" You go, "No, I could get her here."
Because I know the full story here. But this is what I'm saying about Rosie. What's it? I'm just saying she sat on the bus. How did it work? She got on the bus. She sat where she wanted.
No, I'll tell you how it worked. It was up to the driver's discretion to change where black people could sit depending on the number of white passengers that got on. So she sat in a seat, so more and more white passengers get on, so this bloke decides, well no, actually this is no longer the black section, there is no black section, because there's enough white people, you've got to stand up. And she decided, no, I'm not going to get up. It's my right to be able to sit on this bus as a person, as a human being, not whether or black or white. And that was why she got arrested.
On a different bus, on a different day, it might not have turned out that way. That's what I'm saying. It might have been, you know, someone else who goes, get off, who's been in a right mood, might have been in the pub all afternoon. And she's there going, I'm not moving, and he's fed up, he's up to here with it.
Sorry, so she's pissed up now.
She's pissed up now.
No, the person sat next to her.
Yeah.
Might have even been a black bloke who's been working hard. And he's like, I don't want this. It's difficult, isn't it? If I was on there, I'd weigh her up. You know, is this woman doing this as like a good cause? Or is she just a trouble causer? Because she just seemed like, you know, I'll do what I want. Now that's fine. You'll always get people who do what they want, and they do change the little rules along the way. But I bet when she was doing it, it wasn't like a big stand up. This is the day I'm going to do it. It's just happened to. She was fed up that day. She didn't want to get up. Lazy. She might just go around law breaking all the time, and she's remembered now because she'd made a change about bus seats. But when she got up that morning, did she say I'm going to do that, or has she been fly tipping before she got on the bus? This is what I'm saying. Is she just a you know?
No, she's not a troublemaker. She's someone who already had a burgeoning interest in the civil rights. I mean, I really thought the Rosa Parks incident was pretty cut and dry. The fact that Carl's managed to find an ambiguity in it is extraordinary.
I love it.
Tell me something else about Rosie Parks.
Oh, for God's sake! I don't know what she's got to do to win you round, Carl. Honestly, I didn't realise it would be this difficult.
There was a bit of trouble in our yard the other day.
Right.
Between a wasp and a cricket.
Now the thing is there any point to this at all, or are you just going to tell us you saw?
Are you going to extrapolate some analogy from this?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, let's see. So there's a wasp.
Yeah. Well, so look at the whole scenario.
As you said, sorry, just to clarify, as you said, it was kicking off.
Right. Okay.
Scenario.
So you're looking out your window.
No, I'm in the kitchen by the sink.
Yeah.
I'm washing up the few plates.
Right.
The kitchen door's open.
Right.
Suzanne says, "Oh my God, look at that!
What?
There's a wasp and a cricket having a wrestle." I've never seen it before.
Right.
Wait! Are you sure this wasn't Mexican television and it actually was a sporting event?
Yeah. So they're there wrestling, and I was like, "Well, stop them then." So
You don't interfere with fucking Rosa Parks. Why are you interfering with a wasp in a cricket?
Because one, I didn't even know they didn't get on, to be honest.
Oh no!
Because they were sort of wrestling. I said, and my hands were wet, so I couldn't do anything. I always overdo it with the fairy liquid.
Yeah,
So
sure.
she's there. I say, separate them. Now, so she uses a tea towel, flicks them.
Flick. Clever.
Right.
Good
Right.
thinking.
The wasp goes its own way. The cricket's sort of jumping about a bit.
But who was fighting who?
So I'm sort of saying that is really weird because wasps are changing quicker than anything else that I keep my eye on.
Okay, well that's just your theory, and it's not based on
Well, I
anything.
told you a couple of years back I saw one eating chicken. They shouldn't be doing it. So anyway, so now they're causing trouble with a cricket.
Whoa, how do you know it was the wasp fault? This is prejudice. Why do you think it was the wasp fault? What if the cricket would have started it? What if the cricket's got a society to go, we hate wasps, we hate their stripes. We hate them. If they come here, fight them. If everyone comes down here, fight them. How do you know it wasn't the cricket that started that?
Well, I suppose at that time I didn't, but since
Oh,
I don't
subsequent
know.
information's
Oh,
come
okay,
through.
sorry.
Okay,
So anyway,
Columbo, isn't it? We saw the...
yeah.
So I saw all that. We broke it up. The cricket was sort of shaking a bit.
Definitely not! Definitely not!
It was shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
So I sort of prodded it, put a little leaf over it because it was a hot day. Thought I'd put a leaf there so it doesn't get overheated.
I love
I'll
this,
keep an eye
like
on
it's
it.
done the marathon. It's got a little, it's got Mars on the leaf, written
So-
on the leaf, and now it's just walking over with a little medal.
So Suzanne, I'd leave it for a bit.
Leave
Get
it.
on.
What did
About
you say?
half an hour. About left it for half an hour.
What did Suzanne want to do? She wanted to interfere, did she? What did she want to do? Just sort of like...
No, she just sort of said leave it, stop messing with it. It's probably a little bit knocked out, a little bit stunned.
Sure, let's
Right.
get on with our lives, she said. Yeah.
So I put the leaf on it. We go off, and half an hour later I get back in. I said I'm gonna go and see the
Where'd you
cricket.
go? Where'd you go?
Just for a walk. So
Walk.
I've been out, back in, have a look. Cricket's still there. Noticed one of its legs gone.
Oh.
Don't know if the wasp did that or the tea towel flick. Well,
Right.
this is when I got the computer out.
Right.
Had a look. What happened is the wasp apparently does this a lot, and it stings them in the head.
Right, not this particular. If there wasn't like a little profile of this particular wasp. on a kind of
It's just
police website.
an incident that
Just
happens a
generally
lot
happens within
between
wasp community.
wasps and crickets.
Right.
So it stung it in the head, and what happens is it's that whole thing that we talked about before, where it lays an egg.
Right.
So I was sort of having a look, seeing if I could see any sort of holes in its head.
They so dramatic with this
It
animation.
just kept sort of moving its one leg, like, oh, I can't handle this.
We've got one big leg.
One big leg at the back now. It's normally got two that it uses to jump.
So you were worried that crickets aren't aware of the dangers of wasps?
I just had a look online and saw that, it's a popular thing that happens. It's sort of like a bit of a mugging. It said you can leave them for about half an hour. They normally come round and they don't know they've had an egg put in their head. But
There's no way it said leave them for half an hour and they come round, they don't have an egg. But there's no way it said
But
that.
he said they're normally stunned for about half hour.
Have you had an egg put in your head?
Like an ostrich egg, by the look of it, it's coming out the top.
So anyway,
no.
so I picked it up, I placed it under a little tree. I said it's in the shade again. No wasps can see it there. Let's just leave it.
But you've just left that cricket to now die in agony when that maggot goes round his head and comes out a wasp and leaves the carcass.
Well, this is when Suzanne came up and said it wasn't moving. I sorted it.
You sorted
They
it.
so
I
dramatic.
sorted it.
what did
you
you
wanna say
do?
anything
What did
else?
you mean?
Well, I said, what do you mean you sorted it? She said,
Read
it's
between
best
the
that I don't
lines.
tell you.
What, sorry,
I've
sorry,
done.
sorry.
It's so fucking dramatic.
She sorted it.
Wait. Do you think that we're in the mafia and we're being wiretapped? Say what happened.
No, well, she just said she sorted it, and I said, what, sorted what? Because I'd forgotten about it at that point, I was painting. And she
Right.
said the cricket.
Right, what do you think she meant by sorted it?
Well, by the look on her face, the way she said it, I've known her for long enough, so I know that she meant it's not good news.
Yeah, so what happened?
So from that, I took for granted she means
Say it.
I've stopped it being, it's no longer in misery.
So what do you mean?
What do you mean?
What?
What did she do?
She crushed its head with a stone,
She got a tiny head-shaped stone and
squashed it, because that's where all the action is, isn't it? So she said it was too cruel watching it sort of shaking about with its one leg and stuff. You had to kill it.
I imagine I had this vision that one day
a giant
Suzanne
wasp.
just having to say to his parents, I sorted it.
Hey, focus. Poor Carl, man. That hardcore, it's crazy to carry. Like, I worked really hard to get rid of like my because it used to bring me so much like anxiety and stuff when I was young. Every time I saw like a stray animal, whatever, even a wild animal that looked hurt, like it was limping or something, back into like the woods, what have you, because we have a lot of deers and rabbits and stuff around here, and I would always feel like crap, and I would think about like that animal for like sometimes weeks. Like, man, I wonder if that rabbit's okay. Or, man, I wonder if that deer is okay. Or if I see a stray cat running around, like, man, I wonder if that cat's okay. It used to drive me, like, it used to, like, man, really make me depressed. And I honestly don't know how I got out of it. I remember like just growing up and constantly trying to push, like, man, like my mom would tell me like, you can't fix everything, like you can't control everything. This stuff is gonna happen, and I had to constantly reconvince, like, tell myself like, dude, there's nothing you could do, nothing you could do. And it's because Tay still has it. Like, I'll see an animal like a stray cat or something like that, and I feel bad for it. But now I'm able to kind of like go, okay, like we have our own animals, we're taking care of our cats in our own way. If I go and get this freaking wild cat that's been out for how long, what can it do to my cats who have only lived in the house? Like, it can impact them negatively. In some cases, you can get them like in, take them to a shelter and stuff like that. But 9 times out of 10, it's just like what do you call it, euthanize them. And I always feel like that's just not my choice to make. Like this, if it's I don't know, it's a word for, I think, feral cat. If the cat's out there living off the wild and all that jazz, because like Tay get really depressed if the cat is like, if any cat that's stray. Like, you never know, that cat might love living off the wild, especially when it looks healthy. That's at least what the narrative I tell myself to make myself feel better. If the cat looks healthy, it's enjoying itself. It's catching field mice. It's living the dream. And it's not and Tay will be like, if we can't take it home, can we at least like take it to a shelter? I'm like, well, is that really our decision to make? Because if it gets said they're just going to euthanize, they're just going to kill it. That's it. Especially if they can't. Not to stand, a lot of these like wildcats, they can't really rehabilitate them to get them into homes. So, because they're aggressive and they grew up their whole life like out in the wild. That's why I feel Carl, man. It's a tough thing to shake. Like looking at bugs getting killed and stuff like that, man. I honestly don't know how I was able to. I still feel like shit sometimes, but I've gotten far better than I used to be. All that stuff used to always freaking bother me like hardcore. Every time I see something happens, like it bothers me hardcore. And it's so wild, man. Like, you can watch all type of killing and stuff in movies, and like this day and age, we're like numb to it when you see that stuff. Well, I can't watch gore and stuff, but I mean, like, somebody getting like shot or something like that in a movie setting. But like, you become numb to it, like all those scenes and stuff. And it's crazy when you come across people who aren't really, like, my auntie isn't really big into that stuff, so she can't really handle like somebody getting shot or stabbed or something in the movie. It's just not her. She can't even do it, and I don't blame her, because I can't watch people like gory horror and stuff like that. That stuff just disgusting to me. It just makes me I don't know. I feel sick looking at it. So I don't know. It's hard to become. I honestly don't know how I got. Like, I'm way better than Tay is. Like I said, Tay she'll think about a cat that she saw a week ago, and she'll bring it up like I said, like a week later, and she'll be talking about this stray cat she saw or something like that. So, but like I said, it's wild that we make connect. Like, we can see this stuff on movies, but like whenever something happens to an animal, it impacts you so much more. Like, you'll be watching a movie, and you can be watching a movie, and like a guy's going through shoot up nightclubs and all this jazz and roundhouse kicking and breaking necks. Then as soon as like a cat dies in the movie, you're like, this movie shit. Why did they do that to that cat? But I feel him. I feel Carl, man, for sure. Real talk. And it's crazy because he said that because a comedian made a joke about the Rosa Parks things before too. Like, she wasn't a revolutionary. She was just lazy or something. It was. I can't remember the whole bit. I don't want to ruin it, but it was a really, really funny bit. But yeah, my whole point is I feel Carl, man. When it comes to that stuff, I've gotten much better than I used to be. Tay's still there, where she struggles with it. Anything happen to animals, even plants, because Tay loves plants and stuff. So if she sees like a plant just wilting and dying, she always wants to nurse it back to health and stuff. That's just how Tay is. So I enjoyed this. All right, guys, that is all for this. I'm done rambling. Hopefully you guys are happy, safe, and healthy. I'll see you in the next one later.